I have weeded out all of my little pieces, and then we're just going to go and gently fold along all of the score lines. So these are what's going to make your lantern, and you want to score those folds you want to fold those scores all into the same direction. So I'm folding them all away from me. And so you just gently, and some of these are quite tricky, so you may find, like in this case here on this one, I'm going to push up from behind and push with my fingers to the sides so that I can catch that fold there. All right, and then once you've got it, you can just pinch it with your fingers. Now for the top part of the lanterns, every piece folds over like this, and then these side pieces fold like a triangle. And these should fold right up to a point at the top. So just gently pinch until you see you're on that fold line. Okay. Okay, so now you kind of get the idea of how this goes together, all right? And you can kind of see what this is going to look like. But before we do that, we need to line the inside. And what I'm going to use is a piece of vellum. Now, you could use rice paper. You can use tissue paper. You have some options when it comes to this. All right, but what I'm going to do here is just kind of eyeball it. Make sure I'm above the fold and not in the fold there. And then I don't want to be on the fold at the top here either. So I'm going to mark a little mark just below it. And the same with this side over here. And then I'm going to take it to a paper trimmer. So let me grab that and bring it down. This is the works board. And I'm going to put this into the works board, line it up there, right on those pencil lines. I don't know, I think I'm off camera here. Let me see if I can bring it over to it there. So I'm right on the pencil marks, right over here, and I'm just going to trim. Okay, and the piece I'm keeping is a piece that was over here by me. And then the other thing I want to do is that I know that this is just a hair too long, and so I'm going to trim off just a very small amount. Now, when you're going to go to cut a small amount like this, taking your blade into it can make it buckle. I don't know if you can see that, but what I have found works is to lift up your blade, put it into the center, and pull out to the sides. Okay, and hopefully that will just take off just enough so you can see thin, tiny bit amount there. All right. So now I'm going to put this away and bring lantern back in. Before I apply glue, just double check to make sure everything is in there, and it's going to sit inside those folds. Okay, and it does, so we're good. So now we're going to take our glue, and we don't need a lot, so you know we're covering this section here, and so we just want to go around our pieces that we know are going to touch, and so definitely around the outline of those windows, and then into the larger pieces that are going to stick to the front. Alright, I think I have enough. I just want to make sure that I have it in those areas that are the in-betweens. Okay, set that down and place my vellum in. And make sure that. Alright, so now I'm just going to push it down and hold it in place for a little bit. And let's turn it over and see how that looks. A little scrap there. Okay. Okay, everything looks like it's attached pretty well. Alright, so then I'm just going to fold these bottom pieces up again, just to make sure. I'm going to use a bone folder. And this one's got a little bit of the vellum, so that's okay. I'm just going to fold it along with it. And this one here. Alright, so now we're ready to start building this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some clamps here. And I'm going to start gluing along the lantern parts. Along the top is what this whole thing is, a lantern. Not really sure what I was trying to say there, but the top of the lantern. Alright, I'm going to glue those two together and line them up like that. And then I'm going to take a clamp and clamp that together. Okay, and the bottom of our lantern is going to open, so I don't have to worry about being able to reach in and get those. Now the other thing you can do here is, because the vellum isn't scored, you can go ahead and score it, or go back to the front side and just fold along those marks again to make sure that your vellum is going to fold with the rest of the lantern. Alright. Okay. So now we're ready to glue more of the top. Put those together. Try not to have the glue on the top. Put tuck down in there. Stick those two together. Reach in here and clamp those together as well. Alright, now this last piece that gets glued into place, we can glue both sides at once. So pry this open here, prop it open, I should say. Glue along those edges. If you hear some weird noises, that's a cat in the background digging around. I'm not even sure what she is doing, but she is into something for sure. Alright, so I'm going to reach in here and clamp this one. And the last clamp is going to be a little tricky. I'm going to try to, there we go. Alright. And then I just want to hold those together so you can see that it makes a point at the top. Okay? And there's a small enough opening there if you wanted to put a cord or a string to hang it up. You could do that. Alright, and then this side needs to be glued shut as well. So we can do that here while we're waiting to remove those clamps. And I am just going to put that face down here. Work on getting that lined up, and then I'm going to use my bone folder to kind of push that down. Now it's not a big seam because we don't really have a lot of space to work with. Alright, but you do want to make sure that you've got it lined up well enough. Alright, and then lastly, these four sides tuck in. You can see the clamps are still inside there. I'm going to leave them for a while. And then this piece, you can fold this guy down and glue it, and that tucks in like so. And so that is our build. Now I'm going to glue this guy down like I said, because that's going to give me some double strength there on that edge where I'm going to tuck in this piece often. Right, just making sure my sides lined up. It seemed to move a little bit on me. Alright, so you can see that that side is going to tuck in. And then all we need to do is put a lamp inside.